guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. It has been, I think, exactly a year since I last posted a dedicated Asian sunscreen review video, and I know so many of you love Asian sunscreens as much as I do, so I thought that we were well overdue for another one. So I'm super excited for today's video. I have tons of sunscreens to talk through with you guys, some new exciting launches, some that are really highly rated that I've never tested out before, just a really good mix here, so let's just jump right into it. First up, we have the Dr. G Green Mild Up Sun Plus SPF 50 PA4+. The only active ingredient in this sunscreen is zinc oxide, and inactive ingredients worth mentioning include hyaluronic acid, vitamin E, Centella asiatica, lactobacillus ferment, which is a probiotic, and an ingredient called telesomol, I think. The manufacturer of that ingredient claims that it's going to help to maintain skin longevity and delay the skin aging process. And this is fragrance free. The texture of this sunscreen is like a medium weight cream, if you will, because it's not super lightweight, but it's also not really thick and heavy. It's just definitely a little bit thicker than a lot of the sunscreens that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and just Asian sunscreens in general, which are notorious for having very lightweight, watery, liquidy consistencies. This is not like that at all. It's definitely creamier and yeah, like right in between, middle weight. I also do feel like there's something ever so slightly oily about the texture of this. It's not like it feels greasy when you apply it to the skin, but it's not one of those creams that kind of like gets watery as you apply it. There's like a tiny bit of an oily slip that I think you would really enjoy if you have dry skin. Unfortunately, this one does leave a slight white cast on my skin, and keep in mind I have incredibly fair skin naturally, so I don't think this will work for a lot of people, but if you do have super fair skin, or you're okay with a white cast because you're just going to cover this up with makeup, then I do think that the finish is really nice. It's just like naturally glowy, definitely not greasy looking, pretty in that sense. So not a bad sunscreen at all, but when I think about Asian sunscreens that I absolutely love and would consider to be favorites, this one does not make that list. Next up, we have the Soon Young Director's Moisture Sun Cream SPF 50 okay. I was gonna say PA4+. PA4+. Let's just rewind that and try that again. This is the Etude Soon Young X Director's Moisture Sun Cream. Am I kidding? Moisture Sun Cream SPF 50 PA4+. Okay, that's as good as it's gonna get. This contains a ton of different active ingredients. They are all next generation filters, which I am personally a huge fan of just because of the way that they make a formulation nice and elegant and not thick. The active ingredients in this sunscreen are a combination of several different next generation filters, including Uvinyl T150, Mexoryl SX, Uvinyl A+, Polysilicone 15, and Tinazorb S. In terms of nice inactive ingredients worth mentioning, this contains Centella asiatica, biosaccharide gum 1, allantoin, and panthenol, plus it is fragrance free. I absolutely love the way that this one feels. It's very silky. It has more of a lotiony consistency than a cream, but I would also say is like a medium weight lotion. In my eyes, I feel like there is a big difference between a lotion consistency and a cream consistency, and within each of those types of consistencies, there's like a scale, I guess you would say, of how thick that lotion or cream is. Is it really lightweight, medium, thick? I think a lot of you that are into sunscreen, or you're getting what I'm saying. You're tracking. But in case you're not super obsessed with sunscreen yet, that's kind of how I think about things. So a medium weight silky lotion that I think feels very moisturizing. Thankfully, this one has no white cast and it leaves you with a really nice natural finish. So this is definitely one of my favorites out of all of the sunscreens that I tested for this video. I have another Etude Soon Young Director sun cream. This one is their mineral filter sun cream. So I actually got these in a set and they just came together. Otherwise, I don't know that I would have purchased the mineral option, but I thought I'd test it for the sake of this video since I got it. This is also an SPF 50 PA4+ sunscreen. The two active ingredients in this are mineral filters, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, and inactive ingredients worth mentioning in this include Centella asiatica, vitamin C, and panthenol. This is also fragrance free. This is definitely a bit of a thicker cream and it feels like slightly sticky in my opinion. It's definitely not something that I love the feel of, especially when you think about all of the amazing textures that exist for an Asian sunscreen. And while this one also leaves me with more of a natural finish on the skin, it does have a slight white cast as well. So overall, not one that I would personally recommend, not for me. Next up is the Makeprem UV Defense Me No Sebum Sun Cream SPF 50 PA4+. The only active ingredient in this sunscreen is zinc oxide, so it's another mineral option, and it has quite a few different plant-based extracts, several of which are fragrance-free, like almond extract, evening primrose extract, and soybean ferment. Plus it has hyaluronic acid. And while this doesn't have any added synthetic fragrance, it does have several different plant-based oils that do have fragrant components. So there's a difference between plant extracts that have fragrant components and could be potentially irritating and those that don't. So it has some that do not have fragrant components and others that do. This didn't irritate my skin whatsoever, but I always like to bring that up for those of you that do tend to be more sensitive to fragrances in skincare products. I was so excited to try this one out because on the front of the bottle it says it has a silky texture that leaves your skin poreless with a matte finish. And I have yet to try a sunscreen that does that to my skin, so I was like, oh my gosh. But it definitely ended up being a little bit thicker than I was expecting. I would say that this is also a cream that has kind of like a medium thickness. Medium weight cream. Why can I say lightweight and heavy, but like medium sounds so weird? But this definitely did end up being a little bit thicker than I was expecting. So this is another that I would consider to be more of a cream and kind of in the middle in terms of thickness. And because it's not super lightweight, well, I guess that's not fair to say. I was gonna say because it's not super lightweight, I didn't really consider this to be super silky and feel, but I definitely have thicker cream moisturizers that feel silky. So I guess this just didn't end up being super silky for me, which is a bummer because you guys know I love anything that has a really silky feel. I do think this has a little bit of a blurring effect, but I definitely wouldn't consider this to be something that leaves you poreless. And on my skin, it doesn't dry down completely matte. I would say it's more like natural matte in finish, and it does unfortunately have a little bit of a white cast as well. So this was another fail for me. So many fails so far in this video. I wasn't expecting that when I purchased these. So many of the ones that I didn't love had really nice reviews, so I was like, dang. But even if something is not an amazing review, I'm still happy to review it for you guys because I feel like that's helpful to know. Then you don't waste your money. Only I do. Let's move on to one that I did really love. This is the TOCOBO Bio Watery Sun Cream SPF 50 PA4+. This is another sunscreen that has a lot of different next generation chemical filters in it, including Uvinyl T150, Mexoryl SX, Uvinyl A+, Polysilicone 15, and Tinazorb S. Are those the exact same filters as it is? The Etude Jung. Same filters as this one right here, but they don't have the same inactive ingredient highlights and they definitely do have different textures. So inactive ingredients worth mentioning in this one from TOCOBO is the niacinamide. What is going on with me today? Is niacinamide, skullcap root, almond extract, hyaluronic acid, and adenosine. This one does have added synthetic fragrance, but it's the very last ingredient. Let me smell this. I don't remember. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember this really having any particular smell, and it doesn't. And of course, no irritation here for me with this one either. This one is super liquidy in texture and is a lightweight lotion that feels really hydrating and kind of gel-like. So I absolutely love applying this, and there's something kind of like slippy in the texture. I don't want to say that it feels oily because I wouldn't consider it to feel like that, but something like a little bit slippy in this lotion formula that I really enjoy. And this one dries down to have a really nice naturally glowy finish on my skin, like natural to naturally glowy, and leaves no white cast. So this is definitely one of the front runners for this video. This is a really amazing sunscreen, and I know why I've heard such good things about it now. Next up is a brand that I hadn't tried anything from before. This is the Dalba UV, is that how you say that? Dalba? Dialba? I'm gonna say Dalba. Dalba UV Essence Waterfull SPF 50 PA4+ Sun Cream. This has a combination of old and next generation chemical filters, including octinoxate, homosalate, ethyl hexyl salicylate, Uvinyl A+, and Uvinyl T150. Brace yourselves for the list of inactive ingredients here. niacinamide, purslane extract, Centella asiatica, heartleaf extract, sunflower seed oil, adenosine, xylitol glucoside, anhydroxyxylitol, xylitol, and sodium PCA. This one has orange oil and mandarin peel oil in it, and it does have a really light, subtle citrus scent. Not obsessed with that. I don't know. Is that just me? I don't love the smell of fruit when I am applying something on my skin. It's like cleaning products to me. But other than that, the texture is a really, really nice lightweight gel lotion. And even though this one thins out as you rub it in and you're applying it on the skin, it still feels really nice and moisturizing without feeling heavy, and does dry down to have a little bit of tack, like a tiny bit of that tacky, almost sticky feel that doesn't feel uncomfortable or like gross on the skin, but does make for a really nice makeup base. And this one has no white cast with a really nice glowy finish. So a really, really nice one as well. Totally just up to you on what kind of texture you go for, if you're okay with a slight little bit of a tacky feel, and what kind of finish you'd like. Now we have, I think, the sunscreen that I was most excited to try. I feel like I've been seeing this packaging for a long time and just never got around to buying it, so I was excited to test it out for this video. This is the Round Lab Birch Juice Moisturizing Sun Cream SPF 50 PA4+. The active ingredients in this sunscreen are Uvinyl A+, Uvinyl T150, Tinazorb M, and Uvasorb HEB. Lots of nice inactive ingredients in this one as well, including niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, birch sap, licorice root, allantoin, purslane extract, chamomile oil, and vitamin C. Plus it's fragrance free. Compared to the Dalba and TOCOBO sunscreens, this one is a little bit more of a creamier lotion, but it's not something that I would say is a thick lotion yet. It's kind of in the middle, another one of those. This feels really nice and moisturizing and has a very nice soft slip to it. I was talking to my mom about this sunscreen because she actually just finished up a bottle of it, and she feels like when she applies a lot of this, it kind of like sets up with a little bit of a film on her skin that she's not obsessed with, but I don't really feel like I get that on my skin. I don't know, for me, I feel like I just noticed that it has that softer slip, so I could see how that might not be for everybody, but I personally think it feels really nice. No white cast with this one, and this dries down to have a pretty natural finish on my skin, so not one that's really going to enhance your glow or make your skin look dewy, which may be a deal breaker for some, but for others that don't want to do that, this may be for you. Second to last, we have the Skin 1004 Madagascar Centella Airfit Sun Cream SPF 50 PA 4+. Active ingredients in this one are all next-gen chemical filters, including Uvinyl A+, Uvinyl T150, Tinazorb M, and Uvasorb HEB. This contains niacinamide, Centella asiatica, green tea, hyaluronic acid, and adenosine, and it is fragrance-free. The texture of this feels like a lightweight lotion that also has a little bit of this slip to it, and I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this because I know that this is a fan favorite for many, but I feel like that slip almost has the tiniest bit of like an oil feel, like a facial oil, not something greasy. But when I compare this to the other sunscreens in this video, and I think about those that are just really creamy or really gel-like and liquidy and more watery, this in comparison feels like the tiniest bit oily. But I don't want that to freak anyone out because again, it's not something I put on and think like, oh yuck, this is an oily sunscreen. It's just in comparison to these others, I'm trying to be really nitpicky. And I'm gonna stand by that. It's like the tiniest dash of oil that makes for a really nice soft slip. No white cast with this one, and I would say it's one that dries down glowy on my skin, but not overly glowy. More like naturally glowy to glowy. It's really nice. I totally get why so many people love this. I feel like in the last sunscreen video that I posted, where I tested out a bunch of popular, like highly rated sunscreens that are available at Sephora, this was one of those sunscreens that I noticed you guys comment about the most, and I get it. It's really nice. Is it my absolute favorite in this video? No, but it's good. And last but not least, we have, I believe, the latest launch out of all of these in this video. I was so excited to try this. It is the Beauty of Joseon Ginseng, girl. Ginseng Moist Sun Serum SPF 50 PA4+. This contains Uvinyl A+, Tinasorb S, Uvinyl T150, amyloxate, and polysilicone 15. Nice inactive ingredients in this are ginseng root extract, niacinamide, and adenosine. This one is not completely free of fragrant components. It doesn't have synthetic added fragrance, but again, it has a lot of different fragrant essential oils, including things like bitter orange oil and a lot of others I can't pronounce. While this isn't a super liquidy runny sunscreen, I feel like this is the lightest weight in this video because it's pretty much just like a straight up gel, almost bordering on a serum. So I think it feels super lightweight as I apply it on my skin. It's something that feels more hydrating than moisturizing. Like, this is definitely not going to be for you if you want a sunscreen that's going to lock in moisture and feel creamy on the skin. More of a hydrating option, which I think is really nice for those of you that do want something super lightweight and kind of weightless once it dries down, which I would consider this to be. No white cast in this, of course, because there's not even a speck of white in the actual texture of this or the color of the texture. And on my skin, this dries down to have a relatively glowy finish. So I think for now, I'm looking at all of the sunscreens sitting over here that I reviewed. I think for now, this one is this is hard to say. I feel like this is my current favorite out of all of the ones I tested, but that changes depending on what I'm in the mood for. So I would say my favorites out of all of these, I mean, there's a lot I liked. Beauty of Joseon, TOCOBO, Dalba, Round Lab Birch Juice, Etude Soon Young Directors, Not Mineral, the Moisture Sun Cream, Skin 1004. That's a lot. Ugh, the pressure's on. I feel like I need to narrow down to a top 3. Right now, I'm gonna say Beauty of Joseon, TOCOBO, and Dalba, simply because these are the lightest weight, especially once you rub them in. They are options that kind of thin out as you go. The next tier would be the Etude Soon Young Moisture Cream, the Round Lab Birch, and Skin 1004. That just doesn't roll off the tongue. These are still lightweight, but a little bit thicker than those last 3 that I talked about. And the losers of this video are all of the mineral options. I just don't think that they are up to par with some of these others. So the Etude Soon Young Mineral Filter, Dr. G, and Makeprem. Fails for me. And that is it for this video, which is everything I talked about, meaning that we have made it to the end of this video. So let me know in the comments below, have I interested you in testing out any of these sunscreens? If so, as always, they're all going to be listed and linked in order of mention in my description box below. Have you tried any of these out that I talked about? What was your experience? Did you love them? Did you not love them? What other Asian sunscreens should I try out? Definitely let me know that in the comments as well. But otherwise, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more skincare content from me, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, click on that notification bell, and send my channel to a friend. Thank you so much for your support in doing those things. It means the world. Thank you for watching my videos. I love the freaking heck out of you guys. Make sure to stay tuned for my next one because that will be up in a few days. But until then, I hope you have a great few days.